Hello and welcome to Scribes and Songsters. I'm Veronique Mandel. We're so pleased to have one of our former guests joining us today, Windsor poet and author Vanessa Shields. In addition to being a wonderful writer, Vanessa is the owner of Gertrude's Writing Room, where, among other things, she hosts writing workshops and seminars and offers editing and mentoring services for writers. She has been and continues to be involved in many local literary activities, and we're going to hear all about them. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
The last time I think we talked, weren't we in Gertrude's?
Yes, it's very possible. Yeah, I think you did several shows there.
Yes.
You recorded them in there. Yeah,
I know it was great fun.
It was.
It was a
great
wonderful
place.
space.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
Many people sort of know about you, but, for those who are maybe just meeting you for the first time, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Sure. So I'm born and raised in Windsor, tried to leave a couple times, came back. Those of us who were born here often leave, and then when we come back, we're like, oh, this place is the best. So I'm definitely experiencing that. So born and raised in Windsor, been reading and writing for as long as I can remember. And wanting to be part of and build community also since probably my 20s when I just graduated from university, which I went to the University of Windsor and studied communications. That's what it was called back then, with a minor in English. Ironically, I was too scared to take straight up English and creative writing. I've had, of the books that have been published, they've all been published by local publishing companies, which is a great I take pride in that. I'm very happy that my books were published by local publishers.
Did you start writing as a little girl?
Writing in a journal, absolutely. So writing in a diary, I have over 100 of them, 110. I just finished one last month. Yep, I continue to write in a journal.
How valuable is it to journal?
Well, for me, it's keeps me sane or insane. Yes, different people are going to have different answers for that. For me, it's where I work out my, therapeutic kind of big life stuff. Also, just kind of writing down what happens over time as a kind of a historical document. I am thinking about my kids and my legacy of life, and that. So long as they survive the books, then, I'll be one of those writers who gets really famous when she's dead. And then you look through my journals and I'm like, I write the date, I write the time, I write where it is. So you could do a Vanessa Shields tour, So
that's very cool.
Yeah, I love it. It just, it keeps me grounded and, thinking about who I am and who I want to be and how to get through the tough stuff and the good stuff. Yeah.
I know that you write a lot of poetry.
Yep.
What drew you to poetry? Was that your first love, or did you start with stories and gravitate to poetry?
I think I wasn't aware that poetry was my first love for a long time. I did try to write all different genres, but obviously, when you're a kid, a chapter is 2 pages because it feels very long. Yeah. So poetry, because of its length, and shortness and the way that it came out of me so quickly, I think I gravitated towards that. And I also always have loved reading poetry and trying to figure out poetry. I love talking about poetry. And so as I aged, I sort of came into poetry as an identifier of the type of writer that I am. Probably again in university in my 20s, but my first poem was published when I was 12 years old by the Windsor Star. They used to have a contest, and I remember I got 3rd place. Wow! And the theme was spring, and the title of my poem was Spring.
How original!
It's so cute. So I have the picture of me in the paper, and I could see I was so terrified. But the award ceremony was at the main Windsor Public Library downtown when it was the OG building down on Olette there, which Sesame Street used to go there, puppet shows, I was there all the time. And so, Marty Gervais gave me my whatever 3rd place ribbon. I don't remember what it was actually, but that's the first time I met Marty Gervais when I was 12. And he played a big role in my poetry life later on. So but yes, very long answer. Yeah. So length, because they were shorter and just, I guess, identifying first as a writer in that genre made me want to keep writing it.
What inspired you then and now?
To write poetry?
Were there things, people,
life, emotions, like just writing how I'm feeling? It's a great container just to put your feelings and try and figure them out. I wrote a lot of poetry when I became pregnant and started motherhood and then had babies. And there's just so much to say and so many experiences in my body. And I tend to write about my body and the body a lot as a way to, show how I'm feeling and show my emotions. And poetry, again, was like a great meeting place for that. So I don't know. I just like in my brain, I don't know if this happens for painters or if you have this for writing fiction or memoir, like it sort of comes to me that way in like a line or not a whole stanza usually, but often a line or maybe a couple of words together. Titles often come at me.
I find I often get like a picture. Do you sort of find that you see that visual and it means something?
That's a good question. No, it's words. It's words. When I'm writing fiction and longer, like I've written some novels, there's definitely more visual things that I see in my brain. But for poetry, it's often words that go with something I'm seeing or feeling.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily see the words. It's like, or what a visual of the words. It's just the words.
What was your first non-poetry book that you had published?
The first book that I had published is actually a memoir. It's a collection of funny essays called Laughing Through a Second Pregnancy. So at the time that I was pregnant for my daughter, so that was our second child, there were no books on the market about what it was like to have a second child or a third child, anything after the first. And also it was a completely different experience. And no one tells you that. So I started just writing these kind of funny short essays about how I was feeling. Again, very like I kind of started at the top of my head and moved down my body. Like there's a whole chapter on boobs. There's a whole chapter on vagina. Obviously very important parts when you're pregnant. And so I just kind of wrote what I was feeling. And those started in a creative writing class that I took at the university when I was actually like graduated. I was older, but I took a couple of classes after I graduated. And so it kind of started there. And then I kept writing through my pregnancy. And then that was published by Black Moss Press. So that was a memoir, which I think makes sense because it was very like journal writing. It was a very stream of consciousness, very conversational. So it made sense that that could be my first book that was published. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did other women read it? And
yes.
And at least now they had a book.
Yes, absolutely. And a lot of men read it too. Like the women would read it and then they'd share it with their partner. And the partner would be like, they always said, I had no idea. I had no idea all this happened to you. I had no idea you were feeling all these things. Or they'd say like, I don't want to read that ever again. I don't want to know those things. A couple women didn't have great experiences with any pregnancy. So the like laughing through it was, had a bit of tension sometimes, but mostly the feedback was, wow, like you're saying all the things that I think and feel, but would never have the guts to say out loud.
What's your writing process? Do you wait till you get inspired? Do you sit down and just do it?
Inspiration's fantastic.
Yeah, when it comes.
But these days I'm more inspired to like eat a chocolate bar or go to bed or watch a movie. So my relationship with inspiration, like when I was very young, I realized I couldn't just wait around for it. It just comes when it comes. And, I didn't really work in tandem with inspiration. It worked in tandem with time. So now that I have a little bit more time in my life because my kids are older, I just schedule the writing time in and then be specific about what I'm going to be working on during that time. So 2 to 3 mornings a week, I schedule 2 to 3 hours for writing work. But that includes also editing work, mentoring work, my own project work, and like administrative stuff. So as long as I sort of stick to my to-do list within the scheduled times, I can get a lot done. And I also schedule in time for submissions because if I don't do that, I won't submit. And that's the only way to get published is to submit. I got 2 rejections this week, and it's only Thursday. And those still, they're not the greatest, especially when it's like to a place that you really like or you love the poetry that they publish. So yeah, I want to get some cake for myself this week because I got 2 big rejections. But yeah, no, my process now over time and practice and aging as well, I'm really able to now set the block of time and sit down and do the work.
And for writers, it's such a luxury to be able to have blocks of time, isn't it?
Absolutely. And then to know how to use it when you have it, because it's so easy to get distracted. And
and you go down rabbit holes and you think,
sure, research or...
all of a sudden it's 30 minutes.
Yes.
And you've only allotted a certain amount of time.
Yeah, and I have some writing partners too, so that's really great for accountability. So sometimes I'll write like in person, like I would meet you Friday mornings at a Tim Hortons somewhere and we would write together. The first 20 minutes are always like gossip, gab, complaining. Then we get to work. And then another friend she lives out in Newfoundland, Karis Cotter, and we...
where does she live? Do you know where?
Lives, Western Bay. She just was able to go back after being twice... she had to leave because of the fire. So her house survived, but houses on her street did not. So this was very sad it still is, but that was intense. But so Karis and I will write, and if one of us gets like caught up on Facebook or whatever, we just yell like, tell me to get off Facebook. And then we yell like, get off Facebook. So sometimes having a writing partner is very helpful for the distractions too. Yeah.
Now, speaking of writing partner, you work with other authors.
Yep.
And you have sort of some very interesting projects and services. Tell us about all those things that you're doing.
Sure. So I'm a huge fan of community and team teaching and, suggesting people who have skills to teach. And so I started a group called the Writers Assembly, which is a writers group that anyone is welcome to come to. And we work out of the Balanced Life Wellness Center in Essex, this big, beautiful old blue house.
Oh, you're in Essex.
Yeah, Essex.
Oh,
absolutely.
Great.
Yeah. And I try to go Windsor, Essex County because there's writers everywhere. And it's not so far. So we carpool or, we find our way there. And so Michelle Weglars is the owner there, and it's this beautiful space. And so there's, tables and big kitchen, and we get our coffee and our tea and some snacks, and we offer 1.5-hour workshops. And so because we're going in our 3rd year already, so we've had a lot of repeat writers come, and now a lot of those writers are teaching workshops too, because they've built the courage and, we realize they have a skill in this specific kind of writing or whatever. And so, we help each other, encourage each other, and then eventually they teach, they make some money. It's great for the resume. A couple people have done a workshop there, and now they're doing workshops at libraries. So I don't know, I really feel like part of my job is to find out who you are as a writer, what you love to do, what your skills are, and then help you in any way that I can to get you in the community, support your books, get you teaching. Now, some people don't want to teach, right? Like it's scary or it's a lot of work, whatever. They don't have time yet. There's lots of reasons. But in any case, if you want to, just, let me know and I'll see what I can do to make it happen.
So how do you decide, who might be, who should be doing this? Or do you make those judgments, or is it more organic?
Both. I would say both. Because I don't know, I'm like, I don't know, can I say ballsy? But like, if I'm recognizing you that you're a great speaker, say, and you're comfortable in front of a crowd, I might just go up to you and say, hey, do you want to teach about what it's like to be a public speaker? Let's make this happen. And so I do a lot of that. And sometimes people say, nope, I don't want to do that. Or they say, really? I didn't know I could teach that. And I say, yes. And then we make it happen. Other times people come to me and say, hey, I heard you're doing this. I teach this. Can I join? So it happens organically and me asking, which I try to make organic too. Like, I don't want to pressure anybody, but I'm also like, if you're great, like, let's share you. Let's share you.
It's a fabulous opportunity for people, who sometimes feel that there's nowhere to go, or, they struggle at home. They want to write, but it's difficult getting inspired. So it's wonderful to have a place like that.
Well, and I'm not the only one that's doing that. Certainly there's many wonderful groups in town. And I mean, those people who say, like, what am I going to do in Windsor? There's never any, like, on Tuesday, September 23rd, there's 3 literary events happening. 3. A huge poetry event that the city's putting on down at the water. A local author has a new book coming out. She's teaching a workshop and doing a book signing at River Books. And then there's a class running at Mackenzie Hall that night. So, like, I'm in the class. I can't go to the other 2 things. All of us who are in the class are, like, so there's so much bursting, on the literary scene. And so, like, everyone is also experiencing different parts of the publishing industry. And I mean, the publishing houses that are here and thriving, like Palimpsest Press, who's owned by Amy Dunn, and Biblioasis, that's owned by Dan Wells. I mean, those are 2 of Canada's top award-winning publishers. Like, I think Amy's company, one of her authors, just got nominated for another huge award. And then Dan's authors are also. So it's incredible. But I mean, Canada stops in London, really, on the literary scene. So we're here hustling and working so hard.
It is really important to be able to showcase the talent we have here, because it's very difficult, as you said, to get them outside of Windsor, to have any sort of notoriety in the best way, or otherwise. I mean, just getting known is very difficult.
Well, we want to keep writers here. There's also great places to have writing retreats. Local businesses are always open to shifting their space around to have a reading or an open mic. Like, I've never been told no. Any location that I've asked to have an event in, they've said yes, even if it was like a place that had no space yet to do it. We figured it out. So that's another great, wonderful thing about this town, is that the local businesses are more than willing and excited to share the space to have these fun events.
Are you finding that there's that the actual scene in Windsor is being supported by writers? Yeah, for sure. So I'm taking one of Cassie Calverhill's classes. She teaches through the city of Windsor. So Cassie's a perfect example of someone who was born and raised in Windsor. She left for work. She was gone for like 20 years. She came back, I don't know, a year and a half ago. I went to an open mic reading at the Indigo Bookshop in Lakeshore, because one of the gals there said, hey, let's do a poetry reading. No problem. So I heard Cassie's poetry. She had mentioned that she was born here, and I was like, what? And so I totally got her email and sent her a message. And now Cassie and I are team teaching, and we are sharing a space to actually do the teaching in. And also her classes at Mackenzie Hall now are sold out. Like, she's been back for 5 minutes, and now because we've said, hey, this is happening, she's teaching it. It's sold out. Long story to say is there's a person in there who I think is going to St. Clair, must be in marketing or advertising or whatever, but he and his pals started a website where they're trying to pool all the events that happen in Windsor into one space. So what age groups are you seeing?
So I'm going to say, early 20s and up. All the way. I'm trying to go to the Toast open mic nights at Fog, which is the third Thursday, or Fog Heads it's called. And that's run by M. Rowe. She's a wonderful local poet. And so I'm trying to get out to that again. But that is, kids, 19, 20-year-olds who are in university and in creative writing. I'm over 45. I can call them kids. Just say that out loud. But I mean, there's people who are 70 getting up and telling a story. So I think the crowds are diverse. They're diverse in age, they're diverse in culture. And certainly the poetry that was read was completely diverse. We had a trans poet. There was a poet who was writing about Gaza. Love poets, and nature poets. Somebody came in and had a drum and a whistle and did poetry with sound. I mean, so It's very diverse and entertaining, and it's so safe and open. And, you know, if you are nervous at the beginning and you don't want to sign up, but then after you see an experience, you want to sign up in like the third round, you can. So people who start off nervous, I don't have anything to say, they're up by the end of the night. So it's incredible.
I love watching that sort of thing happen.
Oh, yes. You could see them like, I can't. And then they're like, okay, I'm ready. And, you know, people are reading off their phones, or they're writing something on a napkin and going and reading off the napkin. It's really amazing.
It's that incredible sort of creative spirit that kind of takes over when you're in a venue like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, what about your children? They're teenagers now?
Yep.
Or do they have artistic bent?
Yes. So our son, Jet, he's in second year film school at the University of Windsor. And he sold his first film to CBC when he was 14. So he is writing and directing and editing. And he's doing it for school, but also for himself. He participates every year in Flick Fest, which is happening this weekend.
Yes, it is.
So everyone's like, the energy is just palpable. It's so great. They're so excited to get, you know, they get the package of like the 3 or 4 things that have to be in the film. So super, you're going to be seeing filmmakers all over Windsor, Essex, the next 48 hours.
And if someone doesn't understand what Flick Fest is, it's part of the Windsor International Film Festival.
Yes.
And it's in 48 hours.
Yes.
You have to create a film based on the 3 criteria that you mentioned.
Yeah, write, direct, and edit. Yeah. And it has to be under 5 minutes, I think. I might be wrong. Check that out. And then they do a huge show. They show all the films, and then they give all the awards. It's a long night, but it's so worth it. I mean, there was a team that, I think she was in grade 8 last year, Sophie, and her family did a film. And Sophie, she's only 14, but she's been making movies since she was 5 or 6. Yeah. So she was someone who we met actually through writing, because I mentor her grandfather. And he said, oh, my granddaughter likes to make films. And I said, oh, my son likes to make films. Oh, let's meet. And then, so Sophie's coming up in the film world too. But yeah, and my daughter wants to be a teacher, and her classroom will be very artistic. So,
I'm sure it will. And of course, your son comes by all of this quite honestly, because there's you, the writer, and your very, very clever husband, the filmmaker, Nick Shields. So are you working together? Do you do stuff together?
I'm at Swade a couple days a week. I help with productions and creating ideas. We just pitched a documentary together to CBC, one of their grant programs. So I'll be talking with one of the gals from CBC there next week.
Good.
So yeah, absolutely. I'm as involved as I can be. Jet's much more involved because he can, use a camera or whatever. But I'm writing and producing, which is what I trained to do in university, and of course what I love to do. And if Nick's working on a script or whatever, I listen and read, and we have lots of long creative conversations. But they had the 20-year anniversary last year, Swade. The
20 years.
20 years, yeah. So.
I can remember the beginning.
Yeah, me too. Very humble beginnings, yeah.
It is really quite something.
Yeah.
It appears that your careers have sort of gelled, yours and Nick's.
Yes, yeah. It's actually worked out really well that I was, able to kind of do for a lot of freelance writing and editing when the kids were growing up, and could really focus on being a mom first, which I'm grateful for every day. And, supporting Nick and his schedule, because that's a lot of travel too. So it's a lot of, communication and grown-up stuff to handle as parents. But I think we did a good job. And now the kids are old enough, they can join in. Jet can travel with them if he wants. We, as much as we can, will help Jet if he wants, although he now is, got his own team. So that's nice to kind of witness that. But yeah, I think it works well. I sort of, if a book comes out, he sees the book when it comes out. He knows I'm working on it, but it's not read this. What do you think of this? I sort of handle that on my own with my writer friends. And he supports with time and, support in that way. Yeah.
So, quickly, what advice do you have for a writer who is just getting started, and then for someone who has been writing and who sort of perhaps let it fall by the wayside, but really wants to get in again?
So for both of them, I would say, look at the arts notes, look me up online because I have a newsletter that they could subscribe to too, and just come out to anything. There's some events you have to pay for, some workshops, you have to pay for. If money is an issue, just let me know. We always work that out. But just show up and just see. So you can begin to meet people in the community, see what you want to write, what we are already writing, and start to make friends and build your community. So show up if you can. Go out to events and just see what's going on, and you will inevitably meet people, and we'll see you if you're a newcomer and welcome you in. And then for those, both for the beginner or the person who's maybe on the, thinking about coming back in, I would say read and find out what you like, the style of writing that you like, and then try it on. And if you're reading something and you don't like it, that's a good sign that probably you don't want to write that. Or, if there's something that you think is missing in a specific genre, just try and play. Yeah.
There's so much else to sort of talk to you about. Are you writing? Are you doing anything right now?
Yeah, sure. So I have 2 poetry books out on submission. A little chapbook that I actually worked on with Molly Peacock when she came into town for a whirlwind launch book event, and then she did a workshop at Art Windsor, Essex. So I put a chapbook together just from my time with her. She's an incredible Canadian poet. And then I have a full-length manuscript called We the Mourners, which is about suffering and our human connection through suffering. That is out in the world trying to find a home. And I'm like 95% done a young adult novel, which I will be sending out to agents, hopefully by mid-October.
Wow. Well,
yeah.
I'm so glad you came and told us about all of this.
You.
And it's going to be so good for writers to hear all of this.
Yes.
And best of luck.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you. What about you too? Can you tell us quick? Are you working? You have a book under your belt already?
I have 3 children's books
amazing.
that are done. And I probably need to talk to you.
Yes. Oh my God. Absolutely.
All right.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great. Yeah.
All right. Oh, gosh, that wraps the show for today. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Many thanks to our charming guest, Vanessa Shields, and thanks to our Scribes and Songsters team, producer Brian Sweet, and technical producer and editor Gary Glass. Grateful thanks to Tony Toldo and the Toldo Foundation, and to Neil and Tina Quiring for their support. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you soon, right back here on Scribes and Songsters. I'm Veronique Mandel. Bye for now.